Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live. Yes. And I decided to go live this morning because I wanted to just talk about a couple of things here. As you can see from the thumbnail, just wanted to talk about the new development in the world of college football, which I think is very interesting. And I also think the diverging opinions on how it's going to play out is also very interesting. So I definitely wanted to address that. And then, of course, I wanted to talk about the gift that keeps on giving. And, of course, that's the one and only LeBron James. So definitely wanted to get on those things. And we will do that. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and take a few minutes, wait for some people to get in the chat. But I'm going to go ahead and give my spiel first. So let's do that. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. So what I'm gonna do is, as I said, I'm gonna take a couple minutes here, quick couple minutes to see if we get some people rolling into the chat, and then from there, it's we'll go ahead and get into it, man. Definitely got some stuff that I wanted to discuss. So yeah, looking forward to it. So I'm gonna just go and chill for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna see what's going on. All right. Well, looks like it's going a little slow with the traffic, but let's go ahead and get to it. Let's get to it. First thing I want to say, and I guess if you're watching this on the replay, you'll be able to see that. So first, let me just say appreciate all the people that are usually joining the lives and joining the chat and watching the channel and helping us grow. Appreciate all that. Definitely want to let you know that memberships are now open. So I would love for anybody who is so interested or so inclined to join the channel, and we'll start going out and we'll start putting out this members only content. So we're going to have some good stuff for you there, some perks for joining the channel. So definitely looking forward to seeing that grow. But we definitely got some good stuff here. So let's do that. But I guess we can go ahead and we can get to it. Little slow right now, but let's make it happen. Okay, so first, Bill Belichick. This was interesting, right? As we know, Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest head coach in NFL history. He's got 8 Super Bowl championships, 2 as an assistant head coach with the New York Giants and Bill Parcells. And then, of course, he's got 6 with the New England Patriots, most notably with Tom Brady. So here's my thing. I do believe that he's the greatest coach of all time, but he's got some hiccups on the resume, right? One, we know about Spygate, so that one hurts. With Spygate, a lot of what he was able to accomplish as a quote unquote defensive mastermind, I suppose, comes into question in terms of people saying that it's a lot easier to be a defensive mastermind when you know the signals, whether it's defensively or offensively for the opposite team. And so people are saying, well, he's a cheater. We don't know how good he was. But everyone who's been around Bill Belichick, who talks to Bill Belichick, who is in the same orbit with him, speaks to just his encyclopedic football knowledge, how meticulously prepared he is on all aspects of the game, offense, defense, special teams, how well he prepares his teams, and just what a football savant the guy is. And he is one of those guys, right? So whether or not there's a situation of Spygate and whether or not he did that or what have you, which it's kind of widely held that he did do it, but I still, for me, don't believe that takes away from what he was able to do as just one of the elite coaches of all time, right? Because even if you go back to prior to him becoming a head coach, when he was with the New York Giants, we look at Bill Parcells as an all-time great head coach, right? He's got 2 championships, but notice when he didn't have Bill Belichick, he didn't win anything, right? So you got to look at it that way. Now, also when he didn't have Lawrence Taylor, he didn't win anything either. But the point is, Bill Belichick was, if you look at it, the same way people say that without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick hasn't been able to win anything, and that's also true. We can say that without Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells wasn't able to win anything. But it's funny that no one ever brings that up. So anyway, Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I truly believe that. I believe he arguably is the greatest coach of all time. I think the only argument really would be Bill Walsh. And the reason I say Bill Walsh, even though he didn't have the level of success as a head coach in terms of Super Bowl championships, I think he had 3. He's the thing is, when you look at Bill Walsh's tree and the way he affected the game in terms of, creating and spreading, propagating that West Coast offensive system, which still has, taken deep root all over the league today. That's where you see the difference versus Bill Belichick's assistants. His coaching tree has widely failed, right? They haven't been able to achieve that level of success going forward after branching out from him and the New England organization. So that would probably give Bill Walsh the edge, but still, Bill Belichick, one of the all-time greats, right? So anyway, after 21 years in New England and winning multiple championships, Tom Brady moves on. Tom Brady wins a championship in Tampa Bay. And so everyone says, okay, Brady won the divorce. Now we know Brady is the reason that all those teams were winning. And Bill Belichick struggled. Post Tom Brady, did not win a playoff game. Made the playoffs once with Mac Jones as starting quarterback for the Patriots, but he wasn't able to win a playoff game, right? So while Brady gets an extra championship, Bill Belichick slowly continues to slide downhill and ends up, they made it sound nice, like a mutual parting of ways, but basically ended up getting fired in New England. So you have that. And so then Bill Belichick's looking around for a job and no one hires him. So this is interesting because there's a couple of ways that this could go, right? I think there were 7 openings last offseason, and apparently only one was really interested in hiring him, and that was the Atlanta Falcons. So to me, this was really interesting, right? Because we got two divergent takes on this. And one is that Atlanta didn't want to give him the job because when they did like a poll with all their front office people, a lot of people voted no. And even though the owner, Arthur Blank, still wanted to hire him, Arthur Blank allegedly spoke with Robert Kraft, who, he asked, hey, what's the deal? And Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, who was with Bill for, more than 2 decades, told him, hey, you can't trust this guy. Don't trust him. And so that was kind of, I guess, what Arthur Blank needed to know. And he didn't make the Bill Belichick hire, which in hindsight, you look at it and you say, well, maybe if he had hired Bill Belichick, the Falcons would be in a better position than they are now, right? They started off the season well, and then they've collapsed down the stretch with Raheem Moore. But anyway, that's a side note. So that's the one side. It was reported that that's how it went down. And that's why Bill Belichick didn't get the job. So the other night I'm listening to The Odd Couple on Fox Sports 1, and Rob Parker was saying, and obviously this is a long-time tenured, respected sports writer, and he was saying that people that he knows that were, close to the situation told him that the Falcons offered Belichick the job, but Belichick, he said, let me mull it over for a few days. And he had a bunch of demands and stuff like that, a bunch of conditions. And the Falcons say, you know what, we'll just move on from here. We're not going to do that. So I guess it depends on how you look at it, right? One says that they offered him the job, another says they did not. So, unless we were in that room and we know for sure, then we don't know what it really was. But anyway, the point is Belichick, nobody hired him last hiring cycle. He sat out. And this year we've seen him all over the place, right? We've seen him as an ESPN contributor. He's on the Manning Cast weekly. Uh, I think he's been on McAfee. He's been on NFL Live doing breaking down plays and diagramming stuff. And, everyone's been getting to see a little more of Bill Belichick's personality, which people thought for years that he didn't have any, right? Just because, he's at the press conference, he's, being silly to, I don't know about Snapface and InstaChat and social media. And we're on to Cincinnati and, really short with the responses when the media asks him a question he doesn't like or didn't want to give information regarding. But my thing is this: when you're Belichick and you're winning at the level that he was winning at, he could behave that way. But once the winning started to go away, and don't get me wrong, when you're doing something for 20 plus years, that's you and that's your personality. But once the winning starts going away, you kind of got to ease that back a little bit and work a little more with the media. But maybe I'm biased because, being media, I'm seeing it that way, right? But anyway, that's kind of, a lot of people didn't like that. And a lot of people are led to believe that Bill Belichick doesn't really have a personality. But the funny thing is, if you listen to players that he's coached, if you listen to people who know him, they'll say like he's a really funny guy. He's a player's coach. He's not like that at all. That's just what the media gives him. What's up, Steve? How you doing, brother? Oh my gosh. Steve, you're a wild dude. Steve says, for everyone saying Bill can't recruit college players, look at his girlfriend. I think Bill is 71 or 72, 24. So means by that. So, hey, there you go. Man, Steve, you're a clown. But yeah, so and we'll get to that recruiting piece in a minute, Steve. So anyway, that's so people are thinking like Bill Belichick is he's not a nice guy, this, that, he doesn't deal well with people and so on. But again, the people who he's dealt with close at hand for all these years, they know, or they swear by him saying that he's not really like that. So I don't know. Again, I think when you're looking at this stuff and you're making these assessments, you got to be in those rooms or know people who are in those rooms in order to really be able to have an idea of what's what. So now it comes down to there was a lot of speculation on where Bill Belichick might land this season in this hiring cycle. So I guess he's looking around at prospective things. I was reading this morning, one of the things that he might have been interested in that looked like a good fit was the Chicago Bears, but apparently they didn't necessarily have a lot of interest in him. So obviously he spent a lot and made trades and made a lot of moves to try and surround Caleb Williams with an advantageous situation, with many people calling Caleb Williams, a can't miss prospect, best prospect since Andrew Luck. They love to throw that one out there. But he clearly hasn't had a great rookie season. His head coach has been fired. The former assistant offensive coordinator, was fired. So not a lot going on there. And again, they want to give Caleb every possible opportunity to succeed, even though the Bears as an organization are just terrible in the front office and for whatever reason have never been able to properly support a quarterback. So you got that going on. So a lot of things, but yeah, the Bears allegedly weren't interested at all in Bill Belichick. So there's that. Now, I think I read something yesterday about the possibility of Bill Belichick maybe taking the Jaguars job when Doug Peterson's gone, because the assumption is that Doug Peterson is going to be fired. So, okay, now you got that. But clearly that's not going to be the case. Why is that not going to be the case? Because as you can see from the thumbnail, Bill Belichick is now a Tar Heel. He's a North Carolina Tar Heel. So you've got that. He just took the job. And this was interesting, right? Because I don't think anyone looked at Bill Belichick and assumed that he was going to be a collegiate head coach, right? Now, he came up around college. Obviously, his dad coached at Navy for many years. And side note, way back, apparently, I think in the 50s, Bill Belichick's dad was a running backs coach at UNC, which is very interesting, right? That's I think, little known connection there. But anyway, So Bill Belichick interviewed at North Carolina a few days ago, or like late last week, or a few days earlier this week. And a lot of us were wondering, like, what's the deal with that? Is he really interested in that job? Would it be beneficial to him? Would it be a good fit? Is he just trying to show NFL teams that someone has interest in him, kind of, dangle the hook a little bit? But it turns out this was the real deal. We found out yesterday night, that looks like North Carolina is finalizing the deal with Belichick, and it looks like a 3-year deal worth $30 million. That's the money. And there's some conditions involved, right? One of the conditions is that the NIL earmarked was supposed to be $4 million for the football team. I don't know how you think you're going to have success in modern big boy college football with $4 million of NIL. But that wasn't going to make it. Anyway, Bill Belichick got that pushed out to $20 million. So now you got a little more money to play with. He also put it in there that he wants 2 separate staffs, one for he and his coaches so they can focus on coaching. And he wants a GM, which they got, and we'll get to that in a minute. And he also wants an entirely separate staff to handle recruiting, right? And so, all right, let me just mention the GM and the coaching part, then we'll get into the recruiting, because that's a whole nother thing where some people had concern when it came to this whole Bill Belichick thing. So, all right, so his coaching staff, this was interesting because it's assumed, and maybe I think it was reported somewhere, but it's assumed that he's going to take Matt Patricia with him, I guess, to run the defense. And I guess, Salam Sneed, what's going on, my brother? How are you? I think also that it was, what is it? It's assumed that Patricia's going to be there and run the defense. And maybe his assistant head coach is going to be his son, Steve Belichick, who's right now the defensive coordinator at University of Washington. Well, their season is over, so I guess that's that. He probably resigned. And so here's the thing, though. Here's the funny thing. Apparently, Bill Belichick kind of wanted it in place that when he moves on from UNC, that his son Steve is going to be the coach in waiting. Now, I don't know how they're going to do that. Well, I guess I know how they're going to do it. They're just going to do it. But I don't know why you would say it publicly, because that's gotta violate some like workplace fair hiring practices, right? To automatically name someone, and especially the son of yes sir, the son of someone, the son of your current head coach, to name him in waiting, like that has to violate fair hiring practices. But big time organizations do what they're going to do, right? So anyway, that was part of the conditions. I think I also heard somewhere that for his offensive coordinator, he'd be bringing Josh McDaniels' brother with him. I would have to fact check that. I think I heard it on one of these sports podcasts, but just really interesting, right, to see that. And so now the other question is, okay, cool. You're now starting to flesh out a staff. The transfer portal, I think, is set to open on Monday, so you're going to have to attack that. But now the question is this, right? North Carolina, as we know, UNC, Tar Heels, that's a basketball powerhouse, right? A basketball factory, not a football factory. But the good thing is they're in a good area, right? Right below them is South Carolina and Georgia, tons of talent. Right above them is Virginia, Tidewater area, tons of talent, right? And go a little bit further north, you have DC metro area known as the DMV, tons of talent there. You go a little bit, west, you get to Ohio, tons of talent there. A little bit further south, you got Florida, right? So this is what's going on. It's not that serious. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. All right, Steve. All right. But yeah, so North Carolina is pretty centrally located in terms of going after quality talent. So here's the deal. A lot of people were saying, man, Belichick, how is this going to work? He's 72 years old. He's not going to be able to recruit, blah, blah, blah. So here's the first thing, right? Do we know how many homes Coach Prime has been in the last 2 years in terms of recruiting? Now, there's a reason I'm asking this. I'm not saying Coach Belichick, Coach Prime are the same thing, but I'll get there. Coach Prime has been in 0 homes recruiting over the last 2 years. I say that to say people talk about recruiting. Recruiting is not quite the same as it was before, where you got to run all over the country and walk into living rooms. Now, it may come to that if you have a guy who you believe is really high on your board as a recruit and has an opportunity to be special and is on the fence between you and another program. It may take that, but there's a lot of Zoom recruiting going on, right? A lot of Zoom meetings happening where you can do it that way. And then here's the real deal, right? Bill Belichick doesn't have to do all the day-to-day recruiting activities and minutia. That's not him. Why does he have to do that? That's why he asked for an entire staff to do that. And realistically, what happens, a lot of these programs, depending on the position, that position coach does the initial recruiting, right? And you have recruiting coordinators tracking all this stuff, making sure you're in compliance and all of that. But yeah, that position coach does that recruiting, right? So then this is my take on it. I could be wrong, but when it comes down to it, you have a highly favored prospect and he's on the fence. This is where Belichick comes in to close the deal, not necessarily to do the day-to-day recruiting and running around, because people are like, oh, he's 72. He's not going to be able to connect with these players. And in fairness, to Steve's point, he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend. So I'm thinking he's got a bit of a connection to young people and his finger on the pulse, right? And at the very least, he can talk to her and say, hey, what's the deal with A, B, and C, whatever, right? Can you set me up with Snapface and InstaChat, But in all seriousness, right? He's clearly around young people, or at least one young person on a very regular basis, because I believe when it was announced he took this job, she tweeted or posted on Instagram, we're on to Chapel Hill, much like years ago he said we're on to Cincinnati. So it appears she's going to be headed that way with him. So cool. The point is, he's not so alien to young people as we think. So there's that. And then again, he's got an entire staff that he has. He's got an entire staff that he has put in there as one of his demands that's going to focus on recruiting. So his thing, because at the end of the day, Bill Belichick is a coach and Bill Belichick is a teacher. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to coach and teach and be around the game of football, which clearly he's a lifer and he lives and breathes this, right? So he's got to be around it. But he also knows that all the, the day-to-day little things of running a college program, he doesn't know about that. And that's not about him. But he is a guy who's very detail and process oriented. So he's going to do the CEO piece, right? Now, that's not to say he's not going to get involved in the defense, but he's going to be more of a CEO. He's going to have people that are monitoring academic compliance and all of that stuff. He's going to have people that's all on top of that. And what's going to happen is they're going to report to him. So he's not going to be doing all that. He is a football guy, but he's going to have his organization, set up and run properly. And I think because he's so detail oriented and so process oriented and so much of an organizational guy, I think he's going to have success, right? So here's the other part. Why can't he recruit in the way that I just described? What's the goal of most of these young high-end prospects, right? One, now the NIL is legal, like to get some serious money before they head to the NFL, and two, to head to the NFL, right? And you look at a guy like Coach Prime. He is a guy that can get you to the NFL. Do we think Belichick can't get you to the NFL, right? Now, is North Carolina a pipeline for the NFL? No. But he can get you there. And this makes a whole lot of sense. He's in a point and a place where if Bruce Hope, right, host of the Format Podcast, but if 18-year-old Bruce Hope, star running back, and I'm on the fence, grew up loving Notre Dame, go Irish, and I want to play for them, but then Belichick comes to recruit me, and I'm like, wait a minute, man, okay, the running back coach comes to recruit, blah, blah, blah. Cool. I'm still on the fence. You guys have been working with me for a year since my junior year, and now it's time to commit. I don't know what I'm going to do. Here comes Bill Belichick with a bag with 8 rings in it, right? And he says, look, I got these. I can show you how to get there, and I can show you how to get this. I can teach you how to be the best player you can be. I can teach you how to be an NFL guy, right? Now, Coach Prime can do all that too, right? But necessarily, as much as I love Notre Dame football, right? Can Coach Marcus Freeman do that? Does he have that to the same level? Yes, Notre Dame pumps out NFL players, no question. But is it the same, right? And here's the other thing. Bill Belichick's got the connections in the league, right? He's got the, what do we want to say? He knows the agents, right? He knows the players. He knows the GMs. He knows all the execs. He's been in the league for a very long time. Again, he's a football lifer. So all these connections don't just vanish because you're not there anymore, right? So all these are things that can also help in the recruiting pitch, right? So not just, okay, I can make you the best player. I can teach you about the NFL game. I can help you understand it. I can, do everything we need to do. I can show you what execs and coaches are looking for in the next level. I can teach you techniques, blah, blah, blah. I was just there a year ago. He can do all that, but he can also foster the connections. And to me, like, that's a real thing, right? That's a very real thing where he can foster those connections. And I think that's important to take into account because, yes, these players want to get money from NIL and all that, but yes, they also want to be able to go on to the next level and have success. And let's be real, They all think that they're going to go to the next level and have success. Nino, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, they all believe that they're going to go to the next level and have success, even though we know the percentage of that happening is what? Infinitesimal, right? Less than 1% of all high school football players end up in the NFL. So I totally get it, right? I totally get it. But at the same time, like, that's what these guys' dreams are. And you do have a solid chance if you go into the Power Four. So now, here's my other piece. When I first heard about the possibility of this happening, I said to myself, if Bill Belichick gets this job, Carolina, instant contenders. Why do I say they're instant contenders after I just finished telling you how this is a traditional basketball powerhouse and not a football school? They're instant contenders. Why? Because I mentioned the geographical proximity to great players being kind of right in the middle of all that. So that's a plus in terms of the recruiting. All right, cool. Now we know, again, Bill Belichick, his connections, his championship pedigree, all these things, right, can help bring high-end players. All right, cool. But also, we're forgetting one of the simplest things, right? The ACC is crap. The ACC is crap. Dabo Swinney and Clemson won the ACC this year, and that wasn't even one of the best Clemson teams in a while. But they won the conference because the ACC is not good. Anybody has the, there you go. There you go, Steve, man. Stop stealing my lines, man. Let me get to it. I got you. But yeah, that's right. Put him anywhere in the ACC and he has a chance. If we're real, if Virginia Tech hired him, it'd be over, man. Virginia Tech always has plenty of talent from the Tidewater, and then they'd have talent from the DMV. They could pull from Ohio and all that. But anyway, the point is, yes, the ACC is not a great conference, right? And so Bill Belichick immediately has an opportunity to be a coach that can turn this roster over, right? He can turn his roster over, and he can help this team to have immediate success. Why? Also because of the transfer portal, right? And NIL. But the transfer portal is a big one. We have seen how the transfer portal can immediately change things. For instance, even though they didn't have the roughest schedule, you look at a team like Indiana, right? Kurt Cignetti goes over there from James Madison, takes a bunch of his guys with him, and they win 11 games. They win the most games in Indiana history in his first year. Now, of course, you have to know the game. You can't be a bum, and you have to have some luck, health and all that. But at the same time, you're now in a position where you can have immediate success for all the reasons that I outlined, and one of the biggest being the ACC is just not a good conference. So you got that, man. This is to me so interesting to see how this goes, and a lot of people are on the negative side of it. Rob Parker from The Odd Couple, he thinks it's going to be a disaster, but he seems to be a negative dude on the whole. But he thinks it's going to be a disaster. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way at all because of, again, Bill's organizational mastery and his mastery of the game of football. He's going to put it to a point where all he's got to do is coach his coaches and coach his players. Everything else, once he gets the organization running the way he wants, he just has to stay on top of that. And I think that is a recipe for success. And we'll see. The only thing that kind of sucks is does UNC and their, what do you call it? I guess the chancellor and whoever else, whatever positions at a college make up the front office, right? Do they have to worry that the first time an NFL opportunity that he's interested in comes calling, that he bolts for that? Because we also know at the end of the day that he wants to be the all-time winningest coach. I think he's about 15 wins off of Don Shula. So really, like, if he has 2 solid years, he breaks that record, right, in the NFL. And I'm sure, again, being a little older now with 71, 72, if he has the opportunity to get back to the league sooner rather than later and break that record, that's what he's going to want to do. At which point, as we discussed, his son, Steve Belichick, is going to be in line and in waiting to be the head coach at North Carolina. So I think this whole thing is so interesting. It's got a lot of tentacles. And I, for one, am very anxious to see what it's going to be like. I also want to see, and this is, I think, a big part of college football, as the head coach is, got to be schmoozing with the chancellors and the deans and the boosters and, the NIL collective and all that. And then how it is with the college football media and all that, because yes, Bill Belichick is football royalty, but this is no longer New England. And that cachet of 6 NFL championships is only going to go so far. So now you start wondering if North Carolina is struggling on the field, does he get away with being that snippy guy with the Tar Heel media, right? Or just the local media in general? Is he going to get away with that? How are people going to respond to it? Again, you're in not just in a different league. And when I say league, I mean that obviously going from the NFL to college and then the Atlantic Coast Conference. So you're in a totally different environment press-wise. You're in a different part of the country press-wise where they may not be used to you. A lot of times going from the north to the south can be, as someone who's done it, it can be something of a culture shock, right? And so maybe some of the ways that you speak to people and some of the ways that you act, behave, etc., you're going to a totally different place. It might not be acceptable. People might take it a totally different way, right? So these are all things that, and Bill's an extremely smart guy. I'm sure these are all things that he's considered. But it's going to be very, very interesting overall. But in my humble opinion, I believe that he definitely has all the opportunity to have success and do so very quickly. I do. And a big part of that, again, is NIL and transfer portal. So the funny thing is, knowing Bill, right, and how prepared he is, because everyone talks about how he's one of the most prepared people ever. I'm sure he and whoever he was designating for his staff, once they saw this was a real possibility, or once they even showed major interest, I'm sure they already started scouring the transfer portal. So now they're already looking forward to making moves. I'm sure they already have their eyes on guys that they want, depending on what type of scheme they're going to run. So I'm sure they're well ahead of the curve on that. Like a lot of times you say, okay, well, the transfer portal is opening Monday. They haven't had an opportunity to prepare for that. This is Bill Belichick. He's had an opportunity to prepare for that, right? So he and his guys, I'm sure, have been on top of that. It's going to be very interesting to see. And this is funny because I want to say earlier in the week, the former OC for Carolina, he went somewhere you wouldn't expect. Let me see if I can find that. But the point is, he left because I guess he kind of saw the writing on the wall or read the proverbial tea leaves, and he decided to head out of there. So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Former UNC offensive coordinator. Let's see what we find. But yeah. There we go. So yes, Chip Lindsey, the former offensive coordinator under Mac Brown, he is now the OC at Michigan, right? So he moved on. He saw that, okay, well, changes are coming and I'm probably not going to survive them. So I got to make moves. And he did that. And so there you go. So it opens up room for things. And again, I'm also curious to know how much of a divergence philosophically on offense are we going to see from the previous administration to this one? Because offensively, they weren't bad, at least not this past year, but the prior couple of years, they weren't bad at all. Whether it was Sam Howell or my guy that's in New England, can't remember his name, but the point is they weren't that bad. Yes, Steve, that's actually a good point. Forgot to bring that up. Thanks for the reminder. Former Notre Dame quarterback and offensive coordinator and former Alabama offensive coordinator Tommy Rees was the front runner for that job until Bill Belichick. So, I mean, Drake May, thank you, Steve. Drake May, the quarterback in New England. But yeah, Tommy Rees was, I heard that as well on another football podcast this morning. He was kind of the guy that was going to get the job. But look, you have the opportunity to hire Tommy Rees or you have the opportunity to hire Bill Belichick. Which way are you going? Like, I think that's a pretty obvious answer, right? And that's no disrespect to Tommy Rees. He played in the league. Again, quarterback at Notre Dame, one of the biggest pressure cooker spots for a quarterback in the country. He was their OC, in dealing with, I'll just say, some roster challenges. He didn't do a bad job 2 years ago as the OC in Marcus Freeman's first year. So overall, it is, we got a lot going on here, man. Got a lot going on. And this is, I think, with this new era of college football, and that's the other thing I didn't even mention with the expanded playoff, 12 teams, and in 2 years, I think it's going out to 14. You really have an opportunity as North Carolina to make the college football playoff. And why can't you? Again, the ACC is not good. The ACC is not good. So a lot going on there. I love this Bill Belichick move. A lot of people aren't high on it. A lot of people think it won't work. A lot of people think he's not going to be able to identify with the players. I think the opposite. Bruce, what up, my man? What up? Bruce says, when has UNC been a football school? Just don't see Bill translating to college unless he has a go-to between the play. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I think I mentioned this briefly last night. I don't know if you were in for that, and I hadn't gotten to it yet. But when I was talking about how Bill Belichick, can have success, that's the other thing, right? You got to have that liaison between yourself and the player, right? Let's say, again, Bruce Hope, 18-year-old star running back. I decide to come to you, successfully recruit me. Now I'm at UNC, and you're trying to teach me your scheme, and I just don't get it, right? And maybe you get on me, really give me a rough time in practice because I fumbled 3 times and I'm, head hanging down and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know how to respond to the way you're talking to me. I didn't have a father in the house, whatever. I don't know. A lot of these guys come from those type of situations. Cool. And Coach Bill Belichick, was guaranteed Hall of Famer, 8-time Super Bowl champion, Coach Bill Belichick says, Jesus Christ, I can't get through this kid. Hey, you know what? Hey, Coach Steve, come here, man. You know how I work. You're 30 years younger than me, and you identify better with this kid. Go over there and talk to him. Let's start working through you. Make you the liaison for my message. Help him to understand what's going on here in order for him to be able to have success in his scheme. He's a talented kid. We want him here. Help him out. That's how you do it. As a leader, that's how you do it. Sometimes you got to get that liaison because for whatever reason, direct communication is not always successful. So that's when you do it. And that's how you do it. Great point, Bruce. Yeah, that's something I was going to bring up. Steve says UNC isn't a football school, but they have produced talented players given the geography. Exactly. No, he can make it work. He can. Oh, you said can. Yeah, he can make it work. Yes, that's exactly. Because remember, Steve, I was talking earlier about the geography, right? South Carolina's right there. Georgia's right there. Florida's a little further down south. Right above is Virginia, the Tidewater area. And then right above Virginia, of course, is the DMV, DC Metro, Virginia. You go a little bit out west, you have Ohio. So there's a lot of talent. It's centrally located. He can do this. I don't think this is as far-fetched as a lot of people want to believe. Let's see. Parents may encourage their kids to go play at North Carolina and Bill B to get to the NFL. And what's up, Sunshance Kid? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I don't think I've seen you before. But yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't, right? There's certain programs, you have an outstanding chance to get to the league, right? Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, maybe USC, not so much USC, but maybe USC, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, right? And I'm not saying those are the only ones, but there's certain programs where you have a higher than average chance to make it to the league. And then you combine that with Bill Belichick's connections and football knowledge, I think it's going to be a really good spot. Bruce says Bill Belichick should have replaced Brian Daboll in New York, with whom Bill has championships. No, I agree. He would have been a great fit for the Giants. And from everything I've read and heard, that's the job he truly covets and has for years, and always had his contract laid out in such a way that him and his staff, that if it came possible and came open, that he could get to the Giants. So that's what, okay. What's up, Sunchance, man? I appreciate that. That was something that he has long coveted. It just hasn't worked out that way. And I agree, that would have been the spot, but sometimes you can't wait, right? And if you have an opportunity to get something, and this is what I was saying earlier, Bruce, the guy is a football lifer. He's football obsessed. He's a teacher. He's also a student of the game, and he's a coach at his core, right? And I think it's killing him for the first time. And was this like 30 years not being a coach, just like sitting around? So I think that he loves the opportunity that he has to do this. And again, we also know that he's got the opportunity where he basically got it set in stone that when he moves on, that his son is the coach in waiting, which I still can't figure out because that violates, fair employment rules. So I don't know. Let's see. St. Francis Academy, number 1 high school football team in the country, East Baltimore. Who say the Baltimore Dummies can't ball? Are they number 1 in the country right now? That's what's up. Let's see. That's what's up. Normally it's like IMG or these schools from like Texas or Georgia or something like that. But it's funny. Normally, you get the narrative that they only play ball in the South. And I remember a few years ago looking at the national high school football rankings, and I was shocked to see like 5 different teams from Maryland were in them. And I was like, okay, that's what's up. And they had like 3 teams from the WCAC on that list. I was like, wow. And that's the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference. And that's actually the conference where I went to school. Shout out Bishop McNamara. So, I think that's pretty cool. Black Dynamite, what's good? North Carolina, shout out. Top 10 for sure. Let's see. No, not best high school rankings. National high school football. I didn't type in football. But yeah, so I think that, like I said, man, I think this is going to be super, super interesting. And I'm very excited to see how that's going to go. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm trying to find these rankings right here. If anybody in the chat has them, see if you can find them too. Because I'm looking for these. I want them. Yes, Steve. Shout out Catholics. You got it, bro. Okay, so as of December 9th, looks like Mater Dei is the number 1 team in the country, of course. Out of California, Duncanville, Texas is number 2. Bishop Gorman out of Las Vegas is number 3. Bishop Gorman puts out a lot of players to Division I. So does Mater Dei. Crowley. Dang, Texas and Georgia got a bunch of teams. Bergen Catholic out of New Jersey is number 8 in the country. Okay, you don't see that a lot. But see, it's funny. Quick side note, right? So when it comes to this college football and high school football thing, the narrative is the South, the South, the South. And so when there's teams from up north that are getting busy, no one ever talks about them. It's kind of annoying. Westlake out of Austin, Texas, that's another football powerhouse. I think Stafford went there. And I don't know if Kyler Murray went there. But that team has put out a lot of NFL quality players. Archbishop Spalding out of Severn, Maryland. They're number 11. So you got that. St. John Bosco, number 17. So yeah, they might have dropped out, Bruce. I don't see him in the top 25. The Math is number 25. So there you go. And we know about the Matha. First WCAC title since 2016 by defeating Good Counsel a week ago. I was about to say Caleb went to Good Counsel, but he didn't. He went to Gonzaga. But anyway, the point is, still a lot of really good schools throughout the country, and it's just so funny how the narrative gets pushed, and the teams from up north that are really good, they don't even get mentioned. But okay, so on the just missed list, Bruce, is St. Francis Academy in Baltimore. So there you go. Yeah, no, Black Dynamite. You're definitely right. But anyway, so that's where I am on this whole Bill Belichick piece. Again, I think this is just super exciting. I love to see stuff happen in the sports world. And when these things happen, man, I love to get on here and just kick it with y'all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the phone lines right here, and I'm going to put the number in the chat. And then, of course, you see it scrolling on the bottom of the screen, 219-8264. So if anybody wants to give me a quick shout, I know it's morning time, some of you are at work or whatever, but if anybody wants to give a quick shout, then here we are, and we definitely can kick it. In the meantime, I'll look at some of these chats. Let's see. Catholic Cincinnati schools here in Ohio are typically good. Sunchance Kid says, Bruce, heard you calling on Always Irish. Always enjoyed your point of view. Hey, appreciate you, Sunchance Kid, man. Thank you for the love, man. Steve, St. X and St. Edwards. Okay, so those are two of the powerhouse programs in Cincinnati, I take it. Black Dynamite says, even though NC only goes up to 4A, a lot of talent comes from all of them. Yep. That's the thing, man. There's talent all over the country. Like, I totally get it. Texas puts out the most just because of the size of the state and the amount of high school football players there, and of course how important it is and the way they really push it. But we got to stop acting like only the South plays football, man. There's quality football everywhere. You just got to look for it. But they want to brainwash the masses like, oh, football only happens down here, but that's not really the case. But yeah, so yep. All right, so I guess we're not gonna get any calls on this. AI said that. Okay, I mean, I just searched it. I just searched it, Bruce, and this is USA Today as of yesterday, December 11th. So I don't know. Maybe the AI hasn't updated yet. Sometimes that's a problem with AI, is that they don't have the most current information, which is weird because they're supposed to pull from all over the internet. But okay, well, listen, I'm not saying you're wrong, brother. I'm just saying we both got sources. So, but they're a program I'll look into. When we get off, Bruce, shoot me something and let me know like who are some of the players from that program that I should check out. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on Bill Belichick and becoming the new head coach of the UNC Tar Heels. I think it's going to be super interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and let's move to the next topic, man. Only doing 2 this morning because obviously this was more of a semi-impromptu because I thought about it yesterday, but you know, I didn't really get to it until today because I had to prep for the long live, the 4-topic joint with Transformer last night. So anyway, all right, here's the deal, LeBron. I don't want to talk about this all day, and it's not my goal to do that. But again, gift that keeps on giving. So we got to talk about this cat, man. We got to talk about this cat. And it is frustrating to say the least, right? Like, again, I'm so sick of talking about this dude, but you have to because he's such a major figure in the sports world. He's so super polarizing, and he just there's so much going on when it comes to him, right? So, okay, where are we when it comes to LeBron, right? This is so you got all this stuff going on with the Lakers, right? So he goes to the Lakers. He gets half the team traded. We've talked about this. He gets half the team traded. He brings in AD, ends up winning the bubble championship, wins an in-season tournament championship. Then he gets Frank Vogel, the bubble championship coach, fired. Then he gets Darvin Ham, the in-season tournament winning coach, fired. He does his podcast with JJ Redick where he's talking all types of nonsense on there. He's exposing himself for his own nonsense. And as well, he's trying to make it look like he's some type of genius. He also tries to make it look like JJ Redick is some sort of genius. He disrespects his current coach at the time, Darvin Ham, while doing the show. And the show was basically an audition of JJ Redick's acumen of X's and O's to try and get him hired with the Lakers. And so JJ Redick ends up becoming the Lakers head coach with his buddy LeBron. Then he goes and manipulates the draft process to get Bronny drafted. Okay. Then he manipulates the whole opening night thing with Bronny. Okay. Then after that, we find out that Bronny really isn't that good. Okay. Then Bronny gets sent down to the G League. Okay. We find out he's still not that good. Okay. And then we find out that Bronny is not going to travel with the team. He's not going to play road games. Like, what G League player does this? Okay. So basically everyone is seeing all of LeBron's nonsense in full time, right? As if they haven't been seeing all his nonsense all these years prior, but they're seeing it. And I think the thing is his play is no longer good enough to cover it all up, right? If he was able to still play at a level that had the Lakers in immediate and constant and current contention, then we would be able to cover it all up, but you can't anymore, right? And so people are seeing what's happening. He's gotten called out by his man, Kendrick Perkins. He's gotten called out by his man, Stephen A. Smith. He's gotten called out by Colin Cowherd. He's gotten called out by so many people. But at the same time, all these people, they still have to always, when they call him out, they still have to always fall back and try to get back into the fold with him, which is kind of weird to me, but it is what it is, and you got what you got. So Bron is that's what's going on with him, and people are frustrated, not just fans, but also other people. For instance, this is so interesting. I saw this on Man Down Sports. I'll address it briefly, right? James Worthy, legendary Laker, and now employee of, I think, what is it, Spectrum Sports in Los Angeles. He covers the Lakers. Obviously, he's a 3-4-time champion with the Lakers, and won Finals MVP. Big game, James. So anyway, he covers them, and he was recently asked about his top 5 players of all time, and without hesitation, he left LeBron off of that list. Don't we think that's funny? So listen, I'm not saying that none of the old school players appreciate LeBron, but you're seeing constantly old school players do not include LeBron on their all-time 5. Michael Jordan didn't. James Worthy didn't. Dr. J didn't. Now, I think guys' all-time fives may clearly be influenced as to when they came up and who they watched play and who they didn't see play, etc. But it's very interesting to see that the players from the immediate prior generation and the one generation before that generally don't include LeBron on their all-time lists. And I think there's a reason for that. It's the same thing I always talk about. One, the skill set is lacking. Two, they don't appreciate all the nonsense that he's gone through in his career, right? We get it. He's put up a ton of numbers, but you're playing 1,000 years to do that. Steve says, what? I don't know how Laker fans put up with this. The dude has hijacked the historic franchise. Crazy, right? Shame on Genie. Oh, man. Let's see. Bruce says, who cares, Bruce? What Worthy thinks Bron will smoke him. So one, in a one-on-one game, prime James Worthy and prime LeBron, I'm taking James Worthy because LeBron is not and has never been a very good one-on-one defender for any extended period of time. So there's that. Number two, what does that have to do with anything? Who cares what Worthy thinks? Why is it that only when it comes to basketball, one, we don't care what the legends who came before think, and two, we do care if those legends are all over LeBron. But if they're not worshiping him, then all of a sudden their opinion doesn't matter. Because what y'all told me is that I can't say anything because I didn't play and I don't know anything about basketball. All right, cool. Now, James Worthy, big game James, NBA Finals MVP and multiple-time champion. Oh, and Hall of Famer. Let's not freaking forget that. When he doesn't have LeBron James in his all-time top five, it's all of a sudden, who cares what James Worthy thinks? Like, real talk. Okay, let's try this. Somebody in the chat tell me, why do we feel this incessant need to protect LeBron James at every turn? And we'll get to that. But why do we feel that? I'm really curious to know. All right. It's not that serious. Said when these sports personalities call out LeBron for his antics, they always have to give, that's a fact, 1,000 qualifiers before they get to their critique. Well, LeBron James is, he's just so amazing. He's done so much for this league. He's 22 years in this league. He's never gotten in trouble. He's a fantastic father. He builds schools and he helps in the community and he hands out turkeys on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And, he rubs the feet of poor people who are hurting. And come on, man, like, why do we have to do all this? Everybody else, we could just talk about their game, but not LeBron and not Bronny. Why? Okay. Sunchance Kid. Bruce, in your opinion, how would LeBron James have stacked up against the likes of Jordan, Bird, Johnson, etc.? So my opinion is this. His flaws would have stuck out even more because back then you're forced to play defense. That's one. Number two, he can't play within his system, so he would really be exposed. Number three, I think his limited skill set would have been very problematic against those guys. And number four, he was mentally weak. So I think Jordan and Bird would have talked to him and it would have broke him. Think about it. He gets upset now when guys talk to him. There's no way that he could. All right, for instance, pardon my language on this, right? I try not to curse, but let me give you an example, right? There's tons of stories out there about Larry Bird. I think he told Xavier McDaniel, who was an outstanding defender at the time, they were playing Seattle. This is when X-Man was still in Seattle. And there was a game-winning situation. And he says, I'm going to get this ball and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Like, Bird was famous for telling people what he's going to do. He says, then I'm going to take this jump shot and I'm going to shoot it right in your fucking face. That's what Bird said. And he did it and he knocked it down. Boom, game. Like stuff like that, I think would break LeBron mentally. He's not a mentally strong guy. And we've seen it, right? We've seen he's not a mentally strong guy. So, Bruce says 1,000 years for keeping his condition superior. Stop hating big. Again, why is it that because I don't worship this guy, I hate him? I think you right there with Young Disciple. I think you love him too, right, Bruce? You love him too. It's all good. Steve says, yeah, who cares what James Worthy thinks, a former Lakers legend on the current state of the Lakers with his slapdick burning the franchise to the ground. Facts. Who cares what he says? Just the fact that, again, a Laker Hall of Famer, a Laker four-time champ, a Laker NBA Finals MVP who was asked who his top five is. But hey, who cares what he thinks, right? Okay. We're not protecting LeBron. Yes, Bruce, you're absolutely protecting LeBron. You're absolute, because anytime I say anything, you quick to jump up and put the cape on for this dude. Damn, come on, man. You're not getting paid to protect this guy. Cut it out. Stop it, Bruce. Bronze 256.8. Stop it. Okay, we're done. All right, that's cool. Bird was a huge trash talker. Yes. Bird too slow for LeBron. Yes. Well, yeah. Nobody's saying that Bird would. Well, first of all, it's kind of a narrative that Bird was slow, because how slow could he have been? And he was cooking all those elite black defenders of his era. How slow could he have been? Everybody tried to put their best defender on this dude, and he was cooking them all up. So he couldn't have been that slow. Now I get you. Maybe after the back and foot injuries, he slowed down a lot, right? The damaged feet with the bone spurs and both of those, where he had to get operations. The damaged nerves in his back that had him in traction prior to games. And that's why, a lot of times you saw him laying on the floor like around the Olympics and all that. But you can't. I think it's a false narrative. The whole Bird was too slow, because he gave guys a lot of work. All right, cool. So yeah, back to LeBron, right? So you're seeing a lot of these people, and they're forced, and I keep saying this, they're really forced to start telling the truth about this guy. And I think that that's quite interesting. So I was listening to, the Dan Patrick show with he had Ryan Russillo on the other day, and it was an interesting little clip, and they were kind of talking some NBA. So I wanted to play that for you and then come back and discuss it. So check it out. Hang on, yo.
Inventation. There was some magic going on there, apparently. We'll get to that coming up in a moment. Ryan, good to have you back on. How are you?
Great. I don't know how long it's been on since, or how long it's been since I've been on, but the fact that it's this is a big moment for me. So thank you.
Well, I did want to talk to you about NBA stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Paulie thinks LeBron announces his retirement at the All-Star break.
No. He'll
go through the end of the season, but he'll announce that the second half of the season, that's his victory lap.
So let me say this real quick. Let me jump in here. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to play it, then I'm going to jump in, and then I'm going to go back. So first, LeBron, I would be shocked if he announced his retirement at the All-Star break. Why would I be shocked if he announces retirement at the All-Star break? Because LeBron is an egomaniac. So he wants the entire offseason for people to talk about him and people to, obsess and fawn over him. And then following that, he wants the entire year to have his quote unquote, like his retirement tour. He wants the entire year for every arena he goes to throw flowers and put the chair out and all that, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it, because, he likes to copy everything everyone else does and act like it was original and it was new. But he's too much of an egomaniac to say at the All-Star break, I'm going to retire at the end of the year. He's got to have that whole off season, and he has to have that whole season to get the attention, because at the end of the day, that's what he wants so desperately.
I don't know. I think he's going to be really weird around the trade deadline first. I think he has another one of those in him.
Well, it feels like there's this groundswell of, hey, let's help out LeBron get to Golden State, when LeBron created what he has in front of him, including drafting his son, getting AD and everybody else involved, and getting JJ Redick as his coach. Why are we all of a sudden like, yeah, LeBron would be nice if he went out with Golden State and Steph Curry?
All right. So this is a big one, right? So it begs a question for me, not just what Dan Patrick said just now, but why is there this incessant need to put LeBron in a position to compete for a title every year? Like, is it his birthright to compete for a championship every single season, to the point of, do they not realize that let's say if he was to get traded and end up in Golden State, which I would truly hope that a guy like Steph, who I like to think is a competitor, would veto as the guy on that team and as the guy in that franchise, I would truly hope that he would say, nah, we don't want that, because that's your ultimate competitor all these years that you've been in the league. So I can't imagine you would want to play with him for any extended amount of time. Then the BS that's going to come with that. And then that if you should win the chip, they're going to say, first you gave away your team to KD and he won you a chip. Then you gave it to Bron and he won you a chip. Why would you want that if you're Steph Curry? Why? And then again, back to the point, why do we feel this need that LeBron must have access to compete for a championship every year? If he's what he says he is and he's what they say he is, he should be able to get that done. Like, it's crazy. Let's see. Bruiser, you wait to listen to him talk. Oh, man. Bruce says all legends were egomaniacs. Yes, all legends were egomaniacs. Every great man has an ego. But if we're real, Bruce, be fair. Have we ever seen anyone so obsessed with attention like LeBron? Everything he does is look at me, look at me, look at me. Everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. Steve says Steph is overrated too. Steph is all-time great, but yes, he is overrated. I can give you that. And see, here's the thing. People are going to freak out when we say that because they're going to be like, Steph is overrated. Oh, you hating. You said Steph can't play. Who said that? Just saying, like, for instance, here's why I say he's overrated. There's actually, I did a show on this a while back. There's some type of debate among idiots that Steph Curry could actually be considered as the greatest point guard of all time. What type of nonsense is that? That tells you he's overrated. Anyway, moving right along. Yeah, so this LeBron thing, man, is crazy to me. But let's go forward with Ryan Russillo and Dan Patrick.
Yeah, I think because both teams are desperate. Like when you watch the Warriors, it was such a great start. And you kind of thought, like, is an NBA team really a title contending team based on just depth, right? One guy. Like, I think you're probably the same way as me is when I think about really special NBA teams in a season with a chance to win a championship. I'm like, who's the second guy that can get you buckets when the other guy can't? And Golden State doesn't really even have that guy. LeBron can score right now, but defensively, he's somebody that is attacked. He had this incredible stretch when they were winning all those games. You could talk about it being an easier schedule, but I couldn't believe the effort that he was playing with. And I don't know if he was, after that just exertion of energy, just having a hard time after the fact. Look, Dana, I actually feel I'm torn all the time with LeBron because he's out on the floor. We talk about the Lakers and we have to factor them in as a contender. So I almost feel guilty when I'm critical of the nightly production or the lack of defense, because at the same time,
all right, let me stop this. So, one, now you're noticing that he doesn't really play defense. Like, okay, I get it if you're going to use the excuse it's year 22, he can't defend like he used to, except for the fact that he hasn't really defended at a high level in at least 8 seasons now. Like, we've seen it over and over. Like, the guy does not like to play defense. And the excuse that's made is, well, so much is asked of his team. So he's asked to do so much for his team offensively. Well, so was Michael Jordan, but he was still a maniac man-on defender. So we've got to stop that. You see, always the excuses, right? Now, hear this. You heard when Russillo said just now, I almost feel guilty. I almost feel bad when I have to be critical of LeBron. Why? This is what I'm talking about. What is this? We've never seen or heard anyone else say that they feel guilty when they have to be critical of another player. What is it that's so special about LeBron that he is immune from criticism? Even his son, who can't play, has somehow managed to get the immunity onto him as well. We feel so bad when we criticize LeBron. Why are you criticizing Bronny? Oh, you taking your hate from Bron and now you putting it on Bronny. What's wrong with you? You're a hater. This, that, and that. Come on, man. Come on. Why can't we criticize these guys as basketball players? Why? This is what I don't get. Why? All right, back to the show.
And like the way he has pushed the boundaries of what we think is possible for a basketball player, it's so impressive that I get just caught in this circle of what am I supposed to do? But if you're talking about the Lakers right now, they're not good enough.
What are you supposed to do? What you're supposed to do is your job as an analyst and a sports commentator. If he's great, you say it. If he's a bum, you say it. Obviously, LeBron's not a bum, but I just mean that in general terms. Like if somebody can't play, you say it. If they're playing poorly, you say it. If they're playing great, you say it. Why is it so difficult? Again, when it comes to LeBron, I feel so guilty when I have to be critical of him. Why? He doesn't cut your check. Why do you? Maybe he does cut your check, but I don't understand it, and it's super frustrating to me, right? And then when people like us out here in the independent space are telling the truth, giving it unbiased, everybody goes crazy, and then you got people like he who shall not be named who are going nuts, calling your show, attacking you, this, that, and the third, going all around the internet, attacking anyone who has any bit of criticism for LeBron, as if LeBron knows them. Like, come on, man. All right, moving right along.
But I don't know if we do this. Like Larry Bird wasn't a good defender. Like, would we be crushing Larry Bird now at the end of his career by saying, they're going after Larry and, he hurt? I don't know. It feels like LeBron, it just attracts detractors. Like they're looking for negatives with LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is
Okay, so interesting point by Dan Patrick here, and I'm sure that there are some people who would say that that's true. LeBron attracts detractors. Let's do this. Do we think that LeBron looks for all of that? Do we think that LeBron's behavior and the things that he says and the things that he does are clear freaking magnets for detractors? Like, let's be real. Also, there's Dan Patrick. I know he's trying to be objective as a journalist. I get it. Although he didn't make a good analogy there. He says, well, would we be saying this about Larry Bird if he was playing late in his career? Larry Bird wasn't a good defender. So one, nobody ever talked about Larry Bird as supposedly possibly the greatest athlete that ever played in the history of the NBA. LeBron is not that. So let's be honest. He is certainly not that. That title would go to either Michael Jordan or Wilt Chamberlain, right? Greatest athlete who ever played in the NBA. Cool. Moving right along. And LeBron is a great athlete. But no, we wouldn't say that about Bird because no one talks about him as a phenomenal athlete. So that wasn't expected. Two, no one has Bird in the GOAT discussion, right? The quote unquote GOAT debate. Bron shouldn't be there either, but that's a different story. So no one talks about Larry Bird as being in the quote unquote GOAT debate. And so that's another reason. Larry Bird doesn't go around telling people he's the greatest of all time and telling people how great he is and how he does this and does that, right? So like on the floor, yes. When he's talking trash to you, yes. But off the floor, like Bird is super humble, right? And so when you do those things that LeBron does, you invite intense scrutiny. Like I really don't get why people don't understand how simple this is to state and to comprehend. When you do these things LeBron does, you invite extra scrutiny. All right, back to the show.
Is the social media part of it. And I also think that it's a very political thing with Jordan and LeBron. I've yet to see anybody change their mind ever. I've yet to ever see anybody not just sort of push propaganda. And then when I think about, like, I saw a comparison the other day between MJ's last Wizards season, where I always felt like the Jordan Wizards seasons were even more of an argument for how special he was. Like if you go back to that next year, like the first year he played, he wasn't as good. And then the final year, look, like, what did you expect? And now when I'll see people compare, like, well, did you realize that Jordan had this number and LeBron is down? I'm like, dude, are you seriously? We're 2 decades in on this, and the 40-year-old seasons are the ones that are going to break the tie. So, yeah, maybe. I just think LeBron's status and his fame probably leads it to a different level of scrutiny than, say, a Bird. But it's also just what it is today. I mean, these guys deal with hate in ways that generations have never experienced.
Who's the best player?
So I really hate. Well, first, he says that it's LeBron's status and fame. It's not his status and fame. It's that he goes looking for it and he says things that simply aren't true. He's the greatest of all time and this, that, and the third. And he goes around doing the stupid king putting the crown on my head gesture and all that stuff. Like that's why he gets so much of the negative attention, because he goes looking for it, because clearly he believes, any attention is good attention, right? And so you got that. And then I really hate when people say guys experienced hate today in ways they never have before. Like Rich Paul constantly talking about how LeBron is the most hated athlete of all time. Can we stop? Can we freaking stop? I keep saying it. The great Mr. Russell would have a serious argument about that. LeBron gets social media backlash. Okay, cool. I get that. People talk about him incessantly. Trust me, I get that. I do it. And a lot of independent creators do as well. Why? He moves the needles. A lot of mainstream media people do it as well. Why? He moves the needle. But can LeBron say that he's ever experienced having to not be able to go in a restaurant and eat with his teammates? Can he say he's ever experienced not being able to go into a hotel and sleep where his teammates were? Can he ever say he's ever experienced, after winning championship after championship after championship after championship? I can stop right there because he's only won 4, but we can take it all the way to 11 championships for a team, and people are breaking in your home, smashing your trophies, defecating on your bed, defecating and wiping it, smearing it on the walls. Has LeBron ever faced that? So can we freaking stop when we say LeBron faces hate like no one else has ever faced before? We've got to stop that. It's not true. It's a lie. Plain and simple. Cut it out. It's a lie. The media lies about it. Rich Paul lies about it. And it's sad. Anybody with half a brain can see that it's simply not true. Okay. No, Bruce. No. Hate is hate, right? And it's not even close. And first of all, I keep telling you, I don't hate LeBron. I don't know LeBron. Do I hate a lot of the stuff he does? The way he goes about things? Yeah. I don't hate him. I don't know him. Next up.
In the NBA.
It's Jokic. I don't really.
All right, so I overplayed that segment. They started talking about Jokic there, so we're not going to get into that. But I just wanted to play that commentary about LeBron and respond. So it's very interesting, Bruce, that you're going to say I'm hating now. See, this is what I don't like, right? Again, when did telling the truth become hating? Like seriously, when did that happen? I want to know. Because if you're saying you're hating because you're telling the truth, I'll accept that. But don't tell me I'm hating because you know better. I'm hating because you don't like what I'm saying, because I'm telling the truth about your boo. Okay. Hey, if you can say, you know what, Bruce, you're telling the truth and I hate that and I think that's hating, I'm cool with it. So I'll leave it right there. But yeah, the whole thing, man, is all this LeBron stuff. It's just, it's wild and it's frustrating and it's overwhelming. And we got to deal with this daily because it's always more, because he always wants more attention. And he'll always do more to get more attention because it's like a drug for him. Clearly, he needs it. And now, we have to deal with all the Bronny stuff. And, hopefully at some point, all this stuff will fade. And we will see how much longer he decides he wants to stay around and maintain his NBA career. But it seems, and I could be wrong, because every time people have been ready to kind of close the door on LeBron's career, he always makes this comeback, but it seems he's finally beginning to run up against Father Time. It looks like he's, the legs are starting to go on him. So we'll see. But all right, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a few calls on this. If we have any, 219-8264, 904-219-8264. Take a couple calls on this, and then I'm going to get up out of here because this was, I just wanted to get on here and talk to you all for a little bit about Bill Belichick, of course, and then LeBron. So, yep. If anybody wants to or has the opportunity to give me a quick call and give me your thoughts, let's hear that. But yeah, I would love to hear how I'm quote unquote hating now, because I know I'm not. But what it is if I say anything that LeBron fans don't like, I'm hating. It's amazing. I have never seen a fan base that is so completely controlled by one guy. It's amazing. Bruce, what up?
Man, what's up with you this morning, man? Acting like Jason Whitlock, man. Seriously, man.
I don't know what that means.
You acting just like Jason Whitlock.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
It mean a lot. Somebody who do say crazy shit without try to, like y'all afraid to praise someone that's great or give them their flowers without demeaning them every time you get a chance.
Uh-huh.
You woke up thinking about LeBron. For you to put a topic down early in the morning on the Thursday to talk about LeBron, I mean, goddamn, Bruce.
Listen.
You put your mind on night like that.
I consume a lot of sports media, Bruce. I consume
talk shit about him.
So let me say this, right? Real talk. I consume a ton of sports media every day, and so like sometimes like the last thing I listen to before I go to sleep, I might wake up with it, or like from the time I wake up, I'm in the bathroom brushing my teeth, and I'm listening to a podcast. Right? I'm taking a shower. I got my phone on the sink, listening to I'm always consuming stuff, so I'm always getting a lot of ideas from all over the place. And when I hear stuff, I'm like, okay, I can address that. So, I can't even remember if I heard this stuff last night or this morning. So it is possible I woke up thinking about it. That's possible. I'm not mad at that. But yeah, let's do this, Bruce. Why don't you tell me something I said that wasn't true? I'd like to hear that.
Something I said that wasn't true?
No, something I said about LeBron that wasn't true. I'd like to hear that.
That he can't play in the system.
That's true. What makes you think?
True?
Yeah, that's true. So we keep hearing he never had a Pat Riley. He never had a Phil Jackson. He never had a Greg Popovich or anything like that. Did you know that when he was a free agent, he could have gone to the Spurs? Why do you think that didn't happen? Why do you think that didn't happen?
So he didn't play in the system when they won that championship in Cleveland the second time around with Tyronn Lue?
No, he was
Tyronn Lue had Law and Order. Tyronn Lue had law and order on that Cleveland team. You best believe that. You best believe that. He respect out of any coach, out of any coach LeBron ever had. He respected Tyronn Lue to the point he tried to give him the coach for the Lakers. You got to be crazy.
Why does LeBron make you guys so passionate? Why does he make you guys so animated?
I'm not making no passion. I'm not defending him.
You are.
You on that bullshit, man.
Okay, hold on. All right, hold on 1 second, Bruce. Hey, chat. Is Bruce defending LeBron? Bruce on the phone. If he's I'm asking the chat. Let's say if he's defending him, say 1. If he's not, say 2. Put that in the chat for me, y'all.
Okay, I'm defending him because I like him. I'm defending him because I like him. No matter what he's doing off the court that you don't like, nothing personal. I'm talking about his game on the court.
And that's what I'm talking about.
You said LeBron is not top 5, top 3 all the time. Great. A great player on the basketball court.
I didn't
Regardless if you can't play in the system or not.
I didn't say.
Tripping. I'm talking about on the court. Nothing personal.
I'm talking about on the court.
How you move.
I'm talking about on the court.
LeBron is not great, like one of the greats of all time on that Mount Rushmore. You tripping.
So let me say this. I've never said he's not great. I've never said he's not.
Defending him. Stop saying that.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Flowers where they are.
You're definitely defending him. Because do you hear yourself? Do you hear how emotional you're getting?
No, because y'all keep because I'm hyper because you keep saying I'm defending him like I'm on his nut. I'm not on his nut. I'm giving respect where it's due.
So wait a minute.
That's all I'm saying. On the basketball court, regardless of how much you don't like how he move or anything personal about him. I'm talking about on the basketball court, whether he need a screen to be set or not to get to the basket. I'm giving him his flowers. He's a 4-time champion, 3-time MVP, leading score all time. That's what I'm talking about.
And
I'm not talking about nothing else.
I've mentioned.
You saying like I'm riding his dick. I'm not riding his dick. I'm just giving him his flowers.
I didn't say that.
Shit about that nigga, man.
I didn't say that. I just said you defending him, which clearly you are.
You do a lot of clown shit. Yes. I'm not defending him. Yes, I'm defending his game on the court. To say that he's trash on the court is bullshit.
I've never said that. I've never said that. See, that shows that you. Hold on. See, that says, right? When you get the response like that, right? That says that you don't listen. What happens is
I'm just making the show good. That's all. Let me work, man. God damn, man.
Bruce, you. All right, Bruce. You have me. But see, I ain't get mad though, man. We just talking. But no, in all fairness, I do believe LeBron is an all-time great. I do. I do believe he has had an all-time great career. I do.
That's all I'm saying.
But I've said that multiple times. But the point is, if I'm not out here,
okay, Bruce, why every time you gotta talk about him, they gotta be this. They be better. He saw. Is it? Why can't it never be? I'm gonna give LeBron his flowers day. Just 1 second. I'm gonna go back and look at everything he did. Just to spend 1 hour when we get chance one time, Bruce, and go back and look at all the stuff that he did. Not even an hour, a half an hour.
No, in all seriousness, like a week or two ago, I did a show like giving LeBron his flowers when he went on that crazy triple double streak. I think you were there for that.
Okay, let me ask you this. What's the main idea? Okay, let me ask you. I'm sorry for getting so hyper on you, but that's how we're gonna make the show grow. You know what I mean? We gotta argue, be passionate. What you want to square ass motherfucker up here talking about? You gotta have a guy like me, a nut, an asshole. You got to have an asshole on the team. But let me ask you this: what's the main idea of this topic, though? Really, like, what is your problem? This morning, you got LeBron up there. What's the problem this morning, Bruce?
So the first thing I really thought about that kind of got me was it was this fact that so many people feel this incessant need for him to always be in championship contention. And I'm like, why? That's something that you earn, right? You shouldn't, that's nobody's birthright, no matter how great of a player you are or not. That's not anybody's birthright. You earn that, you go get that. But it seems like if LeBron is not in championship contention, then something is wrong, right? Like we always talk about, the guy's in year 22. While he's still playing at a high level, he's not the same player anymore. So why do we have to expect that he's going to be in championship contention? Right. This is so it started out with that. And then, when you think about LeBron, then all the other stuff starts creeping in because there's always different things with him. But that was the biggest thing that I was thinking about. Like, Why? Because we heard it the other night, and I think I talked about it maybe last week when Mike Wilbon was saying that he should go play with Steph Curry in Golden State. And I was like, what? Like, when did competition disappear? When did that happen? And why is it for that guy instead, because we don't talk about anybody else like this. So it's really, really weird. Yes.
You know why? The truth be told, even those people, he got old guys that he was once cool with that's speaking against him. Let's be real, though, yo. Even though people don't like some of his ways, LeBron is beloved, yo. When he retired, when he left the game of basketball. When he leave, he gonna leave the game of basketball in great hands. When Jordan left, he didn't leave the league in great hands. The league was shit after Jordan left.
So I'll say
when
this:
LeBron leaves, the game will be in great hands. He's beloved. LeBron is beloved, regardless of what people may say.
Okay. So I don't see it as when MJ left, he left the game in bad hands or that the game was trash. The game wasn't trash. It's just that Jordan's aura over the game because of how great he was so incredible that it was just it left a huge vacuum, right? Think about this, right? When Jordan stepped away in '94, we saw one of the best. We saw an outstanding final series between two great defensive teams and two all-time great players, Pat Ewing and Hakeem the Dream, right? We saw that. Then we saw again in '95, we saw Hakeem and Shaq, young Shaq, right? Another great, matchup, right? Those probably any other time would have done great ratings, but coming off of a three-peat prior to that by Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan is just so much, I don't want to say greater, but like he cast such a gigantic shadow over everything that when he stepped away, it was just totally different, right? And as much as LeBron pretty much is the NBA, and as much as LeBron is an all-time great, he doesn't cast the shadow that Michael Jordan casts. So when he steps away, it's not going to be as much of a dip, even though the league itself is in bad shape right now, regardless. But
I think people speak against LeBron because he got more power than anybody else ever had in the NBA for as a player. He had more power than anybody.
Yes, I agree that he has had more. Sorry, go ahead.
He has more power than any NBA player ever. Like power.
No, you're right.
In dictating terms.
You're right.
That's another reason why people dislike him.
No, I don't think people dislike that he has it. I think people dislike the way he uses it. And then not only the way he uses it, but he uses it and then acts like he didn't have anything to do with anything, right? If you have the power and you flexing it, well, flex it. Don't act like, I don't know what happened, right? When all these coaches get fired, he'd be looking around like, I don't know, I have nothing to do with that. I don't know, right? So, or obviously, you get your son drafted and you front, this was earned and blah, 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 right? And we know what it was. And again, if that's what you want to do, all right, cool. What's done is done. It's over with. But the point is, it's not just that he has the power, it's that he uses it openly, makes it clear that he uses it, and then acts like we forgot and we weren't there and he had nothing to do with it. So I think that's the difference,
I got you on that.
Yeah.
I got you. But stop acting like LeBron the only player that ever got their coach fired. Stop it.
No, but not this many though, Bruce. Not this many. Huh? Not this many and not in such disrespectful fashion though. You know what I mean?
Well, one is too many, goddamn.
Yes, one is too many, but didn't he get like 6 fired though? He's gotten like 6 fired.
No 6 fired.
All right, let's see. Hold on.
I know 2 for sure.
All right, hold on. All right, who are they?
David Black.
Mm-hmm. Mike
John
Brown.
Hand.
Mike Brown. Right.
Well, it's 4. David Hand, Mike Brown, and Vogel.
Vogel. Okay, that's another one. So let's see.
Goddamn. One is too many.
Yes, one is too many. But when we talking about it like that, like that's crazy.
Then I said,
yes.
I ain't gonna hold you too long this morning, Bruce. I know we talking shit this morning. You know I had to call you and fuck with you, bro.
Yeah, you had me going, man. I was like, really? This dude he's upset right now. Yeah, that was good.
Hey, you must have watched First Take how Shannon Sharp be going off in the morning.
Oh man. Yeah, Shannon be.
Listen,
I think he's real though. He be hurt. What's up, man?
Yeah. He be showing up. He a Braun sexual for real.
Yeah,
But I already said something about LeBron will listen. LeBron in the 90s, he will dominate the 90s.
No, he wouldn't.
I'm going to break up the phone that today. He's 6'8", 250. Centers were 6'8", 250 back then. The big men was the power forwards was 6'8", 250.
Yeah, but that's just it. The power forwards are 6'8", 6'10", 250, but they were diesel like him, sometimes more so, and they were in the paint, so they wasn't just gonna let him come freight train down there like nothing.
Like him? That's the key.
They weren't what?
Speed kill. Were they fast as quick as him?
No, not most power forwards. No,
right.
But I mean, we could talk about it.
And
but
yeah.
Huh?
Like I was saying, the Brown would destroy James Worthy in his prime.
I don't see that. Okay.
It was a stretch a little bit. Prime James Worthy was a tough man. I ain't going to disrespect the legends. Like, I respect the legends. But them y'all stubborn, man. The guys from back in the day are stubborn. They are stubborn. It's rare that you see them give the current players flowers.
So let me do this.
Let me see you try to cut me off, Bruce. Everything the older players do is law. Was nobody better than them. Their game was better. The gameplay was a little bit better. But stop there, yo. These older guys, man, they kill me, man. That's why I'm done with the 80s and 90s, man. They don't want to give the young guys their flowers and get mad when the young guys don't give them their flowers. Seriously, man. It's stubborn. Y'all older guys are stubborn when it comes to the NBA.
So it's interesting that you say that, and I do respect your opinion. It's funny, though, because I see it as the opposite. I see it as the older guys, my generation and above, they're offended because the young cats don't give them their respect. I feel like
which young cat?
The young players and the young fans. And the reason I say that, this is the only sport where you see the players from previous generations constantly and consistently disrespected for the express purpose of propping up today's players. You don't see that in football, baseball, hockey, boxing. You don't see that anywhere else. You only see that in the NBA. And I was about to say I don't know why, but I do know why. Because they know that the NBA media, the NBA league itself knows that the product is not as good, and they know that they have to push a narrative. That's why they allow that to happen, right? And so when you talk about the older guys being disrespectful to the young cats and not wanting to give them their flowers, it's not that. But and I'll make this real quick. If you're in a situation where I know that you came after me in doing something, right? The same endeavor, but the endeavor that you do has been expressly made easier for you, but you get more credit in doing it, I'm gonna feel away. I'm gonna feel away. And I think you would as well, you know? So that's how I see it.
Hey, man, I'm ready to get out this phone, but I want to say this, man. God damn, Bruce, you wake up fucking with LeBron. That man ain't.
Oh, my goodness.
You say fuck that shit. This motherfucker's always something with that gold. Now they talk about him to the Golden State Warriors. Now, see, there's too much going on there. There's a big drama filled.
I ain't trying to see that. Oh, and real quick, as you brought it up, if the other thing I heard is that apparently LeBron's desire is to win a championship with Bronny. So anywhere he goes or gets traded, somehow Bronny has to get worked in. Like, come on, man. At what point is this beyond ridiculous? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just leave it at that. Yeah, so that's great. I thought he was still on the phone, but yeah, that's wild, man. At what point is it that that this just gets beyond ridiculous and we stop the foolishness, man? I don't get it. I don't get it. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna leave it right there, y'all. Didn't expect this to. Hold on. Okay, got another call. Let's check it out. Nino, what's good, man? What's good? I was just about to drop off. What's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Say again?
I said, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I want you to know it's cold up here in the Northeast. Ain't you from the East Coast, too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I'm up here working. It's freezing.
Where you at right now, Nino?
Well, I'm at PA.
Okay. That's what's up, man. Yeah.
It's cold as a fool. But, hey, I was calling in to defend you.
Mm-hmm.
See, just like we got LeBron at screen, we got Jordan at screen too now.
Yeah, y'all put me on to that, man. I'm disappointed in that, but yeah, I didn't know, man.
I don't think that you fit that because I think Bruce might have missed it last week when you was giving LeBron his due and Transformer was shocked. He was like, what's going on?
Right.
You just don't like how he play. Well, you don't like some stuff he do. I don't like some stuff how he moves too. But You just ain't a big fan of his game. Which
No,
I got
not
no
at all.
problem with.
Not at all.
My problem, I think I'm gonna speak for most husbands, fans with not to Brun do no wrong. Now. I'm scared of them too. But sometimes y'all be hypocrites of what y'all say Brun do, and then we go back in history and look, hold on, MJ did this, Chosen did. I think that's where it comes from. Now I tell you who got a slate. Now Russell and Kareem. It's hard to find them guys. Them guys are stand-up guys now.
Yeah, I agree.
Just like personally.
Yeah,
But as
absolutely.
we know about Bron, Kobe, and MJ, I'm no one to talk about a man's personal, but if we want to go personalize them, you can say something about all three of them guys.
Facts.
Now, them guys
Facts.
are tough now.
No doubt. No question.
And I want to give you due on something I heard, because I don't know what it is. I've heard like 4 podcasts, and guys were talking about how good Kareem was. I don't know I don't know what's going on. But it's been like 4 podcasts, and the guys were talking about, you know who I'm to get they do? Kareem said Kareem was like that.
Yeah, he was a problem, man.
So I went and watched him up. I said, okay, Bruce, you put me on something. Kareem was that guy. Didn't know he bust that guy back in the day.
Yeah, Kareem was real, man. Kareem was, he was real deal, man. He definitely was.
Not Kareem. Damn, I'm talking about Hakeem.
Dream. Oh yeah.
Dream.
Hakeem. Oh yeah. That's my dude. You already know.
Hakeem, so everybody. It's been guys giving Dream. They do about 4 podcasts straight, man. I said Bruce like that. I put you. I get the name. I know it was. Dang, what's the guy's name? Played for the Pistons.
Rashid.
No, he was what was his name? He be doing the health and shit. I get his name, but I get the guys now. You might want to check him out. Though.
Okay, sound good.
But hey, love the show, man. Love the show.
Man, I appreciate that, Nino, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for the call, brother.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. All right, y'all. Again, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here, man. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe on the way out. And anybody that wants to join the channel, man, do that. Appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna leave it right here. Don't know when the next show is. Hey, might do something tomorrow. Who knows? But I'm trying to get this boxing show together, man. I got to reach out to Marco Boxing and see what we can do on setting that up, man. But yeah. So y'all have a great day, man. Remember, man, this is a safe space. We come in here and kick it and talk sports and just have fun. Oh damn, I didn't even see that. Before we go, man, shout out to my main man Nino. Appreciate you on the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. Always appreciate the love and respect. Thank you for the support, man. So yeah, y'all have a great day, man. I'm gonna try to get this boxing thing going. Can't promise you that that's gonna be out in the next day or two, but we'll see. And then of course, Saturday night, man. In the meantime, if you're a college football fan, if you're a veteran, if you're not, if you're an American, watch America's game, Army versus Navy, 3:00 on Saturday afternoon. Go Army, beat Navy every time till the day I die. All right, y'all. Have a great one, and we out. Peace.